Cowboy from the Cold Cheese and Hot Bullets podcast. I know it's been a while since I made a recording or made a video. Holidays was rampant, wild, my house was a chill spot, and it was loud. And I had to clean my garage. So next time, I always have a spot to make a video from here on out. I apologize for the absence, but I'm still here. This year's a very special year. We down to our last game. It's been ever since the 06, 07 year and 07, 08 year since we went back-to-back playoff bouts and back-to-back winning seasons. I think we had Bill Parcells as the coach at the time. We had two, hardcore running backs, just like we do now with Zeke and Pollard. We had Marion Barber and Julius Jones. Julius Jones being the starter, Marion Barber being the backup, even though I feel Marion Barber personally was the better running back. But Julius Jones was the scat. Marion Barber was the thunder. Now they got it in reverse where the thunder is the number one and the scat is the number two, which thunder being Ezekiel Elliott and the scat being Tony Pollard. And our third, string running back, Malik Davis, is not bad. He just needed about 10 to 15 more pounds of peanut butter to get him up. But that's another subject for another time. We're going to have 4 subject matters. Yes, I'm kind of lengthy. I'm kind of winded or whatnot. I like to be intimate with my, YouTube followers. I like to give long, thoughtful videos. And I not only like to give long, thoughtful videos, I like to give the facts and my personal opinion. But we're going to have 4 subjects that matter. We're going to be talking about the Cowboys versus the Jags. We're going to be talking about the Cowboys versus the Eagles, and we're going to be talking about this recent game, which I have personally went to. I was, hands down, live on the ground, enjoying the town at the Cowboys versus Titans game. So I personally went there. So I can say I was an exclusive journalist on the scene, looking mean with a cowboy lean, you dig? And the last subject for matter, we're going to talk about Skip Bayless' heinous remarks about the Damar Hamlin, if I'm saying it right, situation when my man had a cardiac arrest on the field. And we're going to end it right there. And then I'm going to probably come back and give you the Redskins review on Sunday and how that's going to go down. I'm going to give you that on the next video, 2 videos today. But anyway, but we're going to start with the Cowboys versus Jags. Now, before I get into the facts of the game, I'm going to give you a little commentary. The Cowboys versus Jags, I love the game. Even though I didn't like the fact we lost, to me, I was cool with the loss because I felt whenever the Cowboys lost this season, either we won 3 games back-to-back or we won 4 games back-to-back, So basically when we lost against the Buccaneers, we won 4 games straight after that. Then when we lost against the Eagles, we won 3 games straight after that. And then when we lost against the Packers, we won 4 games after that. And now since we lost against the Jags, now it seems like we're going to have 3 games winning back-to-back because I don't see the Washington Commanders or the Commodores beating us. I'm just being honest, I'm sorry. And I know I'm kind of getting to the review of the next video, but I'm just being honest. I'm not trying to be arrogant. It is what it is. And I don't think neither of their quarterbacks are formidable to Dak Prescott. But let's get into the Jags. The thing about the Jags, I'm happy that we had this type of game. When we played the Jags about 2 weeks ago, about 2 weeks ago, you got to keep in mind it was the start of a 12-game stretch, 3-game stretch in 12 days. We were still fresh. We was feeling vibrant. We was hot, but the Jags was coming up. And when you play a team that's hot and coming up, for the most part, that hot and coming up team usually beats the team that's already hot. Seemed like the Jags found themselves. I think the game before the Titans game, before they beat the Titans the first time this season, they found themselves and they was feeling themselves. They found out they had Etienne and Agnew, and they had Zay Jones catching the ball with the nice hands that he has. And they put it all together and they beat us. They beat us. And the last play of that game was by chance, it's just the ball bounced off of Noah Brown. Like always, his hands are suspect. He's a body catcher and not a hands catcher. And my man it was just one of them magical moments where you had Jenkins magically running by, ball lands in his hand perfectly. He takes it to the house. But let me get into the details for that. First quarter of the game, it was only 7 points scored. And you know who? My man Ezekiel Elliott scored the one and only points in the first quarter. Basically, it was an end zone score. They lining up, man to man, grit down, head down, slight raise up, snap the ball. Zeke runs into the end zone with numerous amount of plays that led up to it. That Prescott was airing that thing out to, of course, our receivers, CeeDee Lamb, and of course Michael Gallup, the two suspects. And as usual, I don't think that we had T.Y. Hilton playing on the team by that time, because we just got T.Y. Hilton a game or 2 games ago. So I don't think we had T.Y. Hilton. We had him, but he wasn't activated. So it was basically Michael Gallup, CeeDee Lamb, and the tight ends that was making plays in this game, because we had him, but he was still on the ramp up stage. So we didn't have him in that particular game. But I think if we had him in that game, we would have won that game. But that's cool. That was a well-needed loss, and it was back to reality. We needed something to set us in. Second quarter, Peyton Hendershot scored a touchdown along with Noah Brown. 7 points apiece, 14. Zay Jones scored, I think, a touchdown for the Jags. Very interesting quarter. That's when things started to get heated, and that's when the Jags started to get their feet underneath them, and they started building confidence and started believing that, okay, we probably can beat this team. And by that time, we was up 21-7 by the second quarter. Third quarter, we scored 6 points with 2 field goals. We got it down the field, couldn't quite get it into the end zone, so we settled twice for 2 field goals. Of course, Brett Maherhard, man with the big leg, if he keep on going, man, might be Hall of Famer. Man got a hell of a leg. It was a time he was on our team, he can hit the long one, but he couldn't hit the short one. Now Brett Maherhard has worked hard, and I was very nervous about Brett Maherhard because I know he had history with that guy, and he has worked really hard to get to the point he's at, where he's making his up close field goals, and he was always making the long ball. That was no problem. I think he should be in the Pro Bowl this year. I don't think they actually having any more actual Pro Bowl games, but he should be solidified as a Pro Bowler this year with that leg. Big up to Brett Maherhard. Go Cowboys. Legendary. He's going to be legendary or whatnot. Hopefully he do good enough. He go in the Hall of Fame for kicking, because that man is a bad boy. Jags scored 17 points and 1 field goal. Well, basically they scored 2 touchdowns and a field goal. So they scored 3 times. That's when they figured out, hey, we can beat this team. Zay Jones and I think it was Zay Jones that scored the 2 touchdowns. Zay Jones was hot or whatnot, but our biggest angst was that Etienne and Agnew, their running back, and Agnew would set them up. I mean, they was eating us up or whatnot. Etienne was that on the docket as the running back, and him, he would run 10, 12 yard, scoops. When it come down to, the yards, he was eating the yards up, and then Agnew, he was a slot receiver, and he would catch for a quick 5 yards, and then he was yakking. So he was having amazing yards after the catches. So Etienne and Agnew set up Zay Jones most of the game, and it worked, and they got us, they ate us, they killed us or whatnot. Even though we were scoring, they were still eating at us, and they was relentless. And you got to keep in mind that they got Eagles' old coach, Pete Douglas. You know what I'm saying? So Doug Peterson, my bad, sorry about that. Doug Peterson, and Doug Peterson's relentless, man. If Doug Peterson see blood, he's gonna attack it, and this is what he did in the third quarter. This is when they officially believed that they could come back and beat us. Fourth quarter, we got 7 points. Noah Brown was the scorer of that. That was the only points we got. To make it a 34, I think, 34 to 20, I think 27. I think by the time they had like 27 points by that time or whatnot, but we scored only 7 points in the fourth quarter. And then in the fourth quarter, they was down by 7. They was down by 7, but they scored 10 points. And all, making it at the end, the Jags making it at the end, 34-34, bringing it into overtime. I think Marvin Jones scored a touchdown, and there was one field goal made by that field goal kicker. Don't ask me who that field goal kicker name is. I don't know. I'm not a Jags fan. But Marvin Jones came by with a clutch touchdown that brought it, and a field goal brought it to that tie. Cause they scored or whatnot, which made it to 31. So I think they had 24 points, and they scored and made it 31-27. Then we turned around and got that touchdown, and I think we missed the field goal or whatnot. No, we made the field goal. It was 31 Cowboys, and then they got that last minute field goal at the end. They made a drive. Thanks to Zay Jones and ETN and Agnew coming through, making a couple of big chunk plays. Then went to overtime. Jaguars had 3 and out. Defense stopped them. We got the ball. We had a couple of good plays. We gave a toss pass to the sidelines to Pollard. Pollard gave us a nice 10 to 15 yard play. And then we had one play where Zeke went failure, lost some yards, and then the immaculate throwing the ball to Noah Brown letting the ball bounce off his pads because he's a body catcher, not a hands catcher. Big ups to Landlord for that one. He's another Cowboy YouTube commentary, content maker. He's from Alabama, Landlord from Alabama. He explained this, and I'm gonna break it down to y'all because I got love for y'all. You my peoples. It's the difference between a hands catcher and a body catcher. You got legendary receivers like Michael Irvin, Jerry Rice, who was I think Randy Moss, even Deion Sanders. He played corner and receiver. That's how talented he was, and so many others. So many other legendary receivers I can think of. But them guys was hand catchers, and that's what made them so great because they wasn't catching it with their body. The problem with Noah Brown, they finally excommunicated him out this next game, by the way, and they put T.Y. Hilton in, another great hand catcher. When you catch it with your body, it's not guaranteed that you're going to catch that ball. It's a good chance that it's going to bobble off your body and off your hands and bounce off into the air and, land into the other player's hand. It also happened to Hendershot in that Titans game, and I'm going to talk about that when I get to that game. Yeah, so Jenkins got the interception, ran into the end zone in overtime, ended the game, and that was that on that. Final score, 40-34, Jags, which at the time, our records, we 12 and 4 now. At the time, our record was 10-3, I think. Cowboys versus Eagles, another intricate playoff game that we needed. After losing to the Jags, this was a playoff atmosphere game. And I'm loving how these games leading at the end of the season are like playoff games. I'm happy that we're not blowing anybody out. That's the reason why I'm not really fearful for my team coming into these playoffs. No matter who we play, I think that we're going to pull off this first game in the playoffs. And I think that's all we need. I think we can win this first playoff game. I think the team's going to start to believe, and who knows, we might make it to the big game. I'm not saying we will, but I'm just being honest. Cowboys versus Eagles was another playoff type atmosphere. You didn't have Hurts. You had Minshew as the starting quarterback. In the first quarter, Ezekiel Elliott scored for 1 touchdown, which leads to our first 7 points. The Eagles scored twice with a touchdown and a field goal, which the touchdown was an interception by Dak Prescott, caught by Sweat, leading it to the house, touchdown, and 1 field goal by their field goal kicker, whoever that is. Second quarter, CeeDee Lamb scores a touchdown and 1 field goal by my man Brett Maher. That was the 10 points. Which second quarter, the Eagles also got a touchdown and a field goal with Minshew scoring at the end zone with a quarterback sneak, and they got 1 field goal. Third quarter, Michael Gallup scores a touchdown, where we also got 10 points. The third quarter, Michael Gallup scores a touchdown, and Brett Maher gets 1 field goal. For the Eagles, Devontae Smith scores a touchdown with a sweeping play downfield. Boy, he's going to be legendary pretty soon. Hate to say it, even though he's an Eagle. He was dope in Alabama. Devontae Smith, everybody talking about my man coming from the Titans, but watch out for Devontae Smith. The reason why he's not explosive as and my man coming from the Titans, his name comes to me, explosive as him, AJ Brown, because his weight. He need about 10 more pounds of peanut butter. But once he get the 10 more pounds of peanut butter, Devontae Smith gonna be something bad. He's already bad now, take that back, but he's gonna be something extraordinary. He's good, he's now, but he's gonna be something extraordinary. And that's a big thing with Cowboy fans. See, we don't mind saying who's gonna be legendary on the opposite team, even in our same division. You know, people got so much hate for the Cowboy fans, and nobody want to say that CeeDee Lamb's gonna be something bad later on. So we give it up no matter what, even when we don't like you. So that's the difference between the Cowboys fan base and everybody else, you know what I mean? Because we the most hated in the NFL. You see why? You see how beautiful this star is. Fourth quarter, we scored 13 points. It was a touchdown by CeeDee Lamb and 2 field goals. That made it 13. And in the last quarter, for the Eagles, Devontae Smith scores a touchdown, but it was too little too late. Minshew had one last standoff at the 30-yard line, trying to get the touchdown to tie the game, but he couldn't make it shake. It fell short. Defense stopped him for all 4 runs, even the 4th down, and that was the end of that. The end of Minshew. Down goes the Eagles. We cut the head off the Eagle, and we had some Eagle wings to celebrate. We ate them boys at the end of the game. So that was the end of that. We won this game, leading our record to be 11-3. 11-4. Take it back. 11. On to the Titan game. Now, the Titans game was very interesting because I actually went to that game due to an invite from my longtime 20-year friendship with a Titan fan, my man Big Fry Southside. The weather wasn't so great, but the temperature was nice. It was like about late 40s, early 50s. It was gloomy, muddy, but the energy was out there. The nation was in the city. Went to the little VIP party, ran into some people that I haven't seen in a while. Seen DJ Wiz, see Wiz on the 1s and 2s, Wheels of Steel. Made a friend. It was dope, man. Had plenty of Crown. Crown and Coke. I was enjoying myself, man. I was parlaying with the people, communicating, watching the nation take over the city that night. It was exhilarating. I wish you could be there, but too bad, Big Reese, man. You a hater, so you couldn't make it. Couldn't make it to the party, but you was there in spirit. At least I think you was. At least I thought you was. But the Titans game was a exhilarating game, another playoff-like type atmosphere. It was a game that we needed again. Whatnot. Titans, they set everybody down. They set King Henry down. Tannehill, I think, was hurt. They even excommunicated themselves from Malik Davis and set him down and made him third string and put Dobbs in the place of him. Dobbs did pretty good. And now I'm about to get into details about this game. Ezekiel Elliott, of course, strike first blood. He scored 7 points in the first quarter, which Titans scored 0. So So we was up by 7 points by the end of the first quarter. Second quarter, we only scored 3 points. Second quarter with a field goal by my man Brett Maher. That was the only action we got the second quarter. We really played down to our competition. I'm not too proud to say that, but we played down our competition. But it was cool. It was a nice little litmus test for us. But the Titans only scored 2 touchdowns. By halftime, we was up 10-6. Third quarter, Schultz, our tight end, Schultz scored 7 points for us. And then the third quarter, Woods scored a touchdown for the Titans. Fourth quarter, it gets sticky. Darius Schultz scored 7 points, and then we got 1 field goal by Brett Maher, and 0 points for the Titans. It wasn't Noah Brown, but it was Nashawn Wright that got that interception at the end. I think Kurtz got an interception. I think Kurtz also knocked the ball out of the hands of Dobbs, and we ended up recovering. So the defense really came through that game. Bynum, which the Titans need to do everything to keep him. He got about 2 or 3. I think he got all their interceptions. Cause I think Dad threw 3. He threw 2 that I feel that wasn't on him. He threw 1 that was on him. Hendershot, like I was gonna tell you, I was gonna get to that. Hendershot had a nice pass that was in his hands, and he let it deflect off his fingertips, and Baynard was there or whatnot and got that interception. So I think it was really just 1 on that or whatnot, and the rest was on the players. And I think he had 1 off of Noah Brown, of course. Old boogie down Noah Brown, body catcher or whatnot. We going back to that body thing again between receivers that catch with their hands and receivers that catch with their bodies or whatnot. It's not secured if you gonna catch with your body, because the ball can bounce off into your hands and you can bobble it. So that's the problem with the Cowboys. Most of Dak Prescott's receiving interceptions are coming from the receivers not catching with their hands, but they're catching with their bodies. And it's a 50-50 chance that you catch that ball if you catch it with your body. If you know how to properly catch with your hands, most likely you're going to raise the odds of a 70-30 or 80-20 or a 90-10. That's how important your hands is. That's why they got them gloves, for that ball to be a little sticky in your hands. But it was wet that day. I'm not going to make no excuses, but it was wet that day, gloomy, moist. And a lot of things can come to play when it comes down to football. Football is a game of inches. Now we're going to get into Skip Bayless and his tweets, and I'm going to read his quote, and I'm going to tell you how I feel about that. And I'm going to get a little deep with Skip Bayless or whatnot, because Skip Bayless, he is who he is, and he's not going to change. And it's kind of like the whole Jerry Jones thing, which, I can understand why people are coming to that conclusion with the Jerry Jones situation, because he was there. But by the way Jerry Jones looked, man, Jerry Jones, like he was barely big enough to kill a fly, but yet bust a grape. So, I mean, he looked more curious than he really did look antagonizing. But them guys up front was definitely antagonizing. But I already talked about that. All right, we're gonna talk about old Skip Bayless, and I'm gonna read his remarks, and I quote this: "This late in the season, a game of this magnitude is crucial to the regular season outcome, which suddenly seems so irrelevant." All right, I gotta admit, this quote from this tweet sounds real heartless, and it is. Skip Bayless, you gotta understand, Skip Bayless falls from a syndrome of an entitled white man in America. And unfortunately, every network and every program and every newspaper that he have ever worked for, he's never been punished for his remarks. So being an entitled white man, also being treated like an entitled white man, and never being punished, leads you to these remarks about a man that had a cardiac arrest in the middle of the field, in the middle of a game. It's so heartless and it's so inconsiderate that man could have died in this game he's talking about, that which it suddenly seems so irrelevant. Yeah, the game is irrelevant, dummy, because this man could have died in the middle of the field. But when you was working for ESPN, First Take, you never been held accountable for your words, and that it follows. The sickness follows. Your white entitlement follows to this FS1 network, and they won't punish you because you getting ratings and you gaining revenue, and you got $1 million worth of white skin, so you can say anything you want. Bottom line is the football players in the NFL, especially black ones, get treated like, slaves on a plantation. When a player get hurt, they swing up, roll that black man off the field, and let's keep this game going. For once, I can actually say that I was proud of the NFL for once. And probably one of the first times or second times that I was proud of the NFL on how they handled this. They got the medical team out there promptly and fast and expeditiously to handle this player like he was somebody worth saving. The camera team did good by not putting too much emphasis on him and keeping the camera away. They showed the reactions of the players better than the actual incident. I'm proud of the camera team and the crew and the producers deciding to do that. I'm proud of the fans, actually, on both sides being concerned about this black man laying on the field. I love football like everybody else. But at the end of the day, when a person's dying on the field or potentially could be dying on the field, show some compassion, because these people get beat up just to entertain you. So we got to take that into consideration. We got to show some humanity for once in our life. The things that Skip Bayless said was insane. And he sounded like a little privileged, entitled, spoiled white kid that went to a privileged, entitled Ivy League school like Vanderbilt. And let me tell you something about them Vanderbilt kids. Some of them are good people, but a lot of them is just like Skip Bayless. They've been spoon-fed and brazen with that golden spoon and that silver spoon in their mouth all their life, and they never experienced life. They never knew how it feels to eat ramen noodles for dinner. They never missed a meal. They always had daddy's trust fund. They always had mama's money. And they can talk like this because society granted you that great life that historically less fortunate, darker skinned people work for free to give you. And this is what it leads to. But you ought to be thankful every day you wake up in the morning, Skip Bayless, and you go to your high-paying job, and you go to your nice car, and you drive to work, and you get to enjoy the fruits of this country based on the dismay and the distraught situations of people, especially people that look like my man that's laying down on that field. But that's all I gotta say on that. I don't want to get too deep, and I ain't trying to get too real, but I want to say enough just to let people know that I didn't like what Skip Bayless said. They ought to make him apologize, but they won't do it because, like I said, certain people, clear-colored people, can't do no wrong. He should be fine. To me, he should lose his job, but it ain't gonna happen because Skip is making that money. He gonna make it roll, and he got the hottest show on FS1. But that's it. Prince Cowboy88 officially had his review on these 3 games, and I'm out. Much love to you, and thanks for tuning in to the Cold Cheese and Hot Bullets podcast.